Hello again, Rick and the Reaper project. So, haven't got a lot more done since we talked last. Still working on the landing gear and the ball turret. Got a couple of parts I need to machine to make it work. I did, however, get all my magnets in for the canopies. And, man, what a difference. Definitely recommend this upgrade, but right now I am going to show you the power plant. We are going to use the 100 amp SBC 2 to 6S Deluxe Turnigy ESC. This is it right out of the box. I already have the programmer. I'll program it in another video tutorial. This is a 100 amp with a 120 burst. It'll handle 5 to 16 nickel metal hydride, 2 to 6 lipo. We'll be running a 4S 5000 milliamp hour battery. So based on my motor and the prop I'm going to spin, I should be pulling 87 to 92 amps, somewhere in there. And with the burst capability of 120, this should be more than enough. So this is a switching BEC. If you don't know what a BEC circuit is, it's a battery eliminator circuit, and we use that in modern electric models so we don't have to pack a extra battery on board for the flight controls, servos, and radio TXRX. So the wire on this bad boy is a 10 gauge from the battery side and equally 10 gauged to the motor side. This is the actual power plant that we're gonna stuff in this motor. I've had real good luck with these COBRA series motors. This is the biggest one I've run so far, and the chassis for the aircraft itself, I'm gonna run it internally. And down inside here there's a chunk of wood that they pre-install. I don't know if you can see that in there or not, but anyhow, a lot of the guys I've seen have built these with the motor out here hanging off the back, and I really like that nice crisp look where the spinner is right up flush to the body, same size as this diameter, which happens to be 2 3/8. So you either need to run a 2 1/4 or a 2 5/8 spinner, because a 2 1/2 is wider than the airframe, and it just looks a little funky to me. So, but I am going to run a 3-blade 11/7 prop on this. Enough of the talk. Let's bust this motor out. It's a 412012. It's a 41 millimeter motor. It's our 41 millimeter series. That's the inside diameter of the stator. The 20 millimeters is the length of the winding coil itself, and the 12 is how many windings it has. This is an 850 kV motor at 3S. At 4S, it's 1100 and some change, if I remember right. And inside this box, it's actually a pretty stout, cool little box. I might hang on to it. It's got a pretty cool puzzle locked padding that comes in it to protect the motor. And with these motors comes the mount on propeller adapter. It bolts right to the armature, the outside, and it comes with 3.5 millimeter solder on battery connectors. So I've already kind of finger installed the fan on the back of this motor, but here it is. I'm kind of a bigger guy. I'm right at 6 foot. I weigh 200 pounds. I've got a pretty decent size hand. So don't let this video fool you to the size of this motor. It is pretty good size. It says COBRA on it. It's got the model and everything right on it. It's running 8-gauge wire right off the motor. I'm sorry, 14 gauge right off the motor windings, and it has a 6mm output shaft. This piece here is a fan that COBRA makes, and it comes off, or you could bolt your propeller adapter this side of the armature and mount it this way and use the propeller on the armature. But I'm going to utilize this bearing on the front end and the output shaft, and I'm going to run my load out here. I've never been a big fan of spinning the armatures. It seems like I've overloaded them or something many times in the past, and they've just torn them up. So that's all that comes in the motor. Oh, I'm sorry. Also with the motor comes the cross mount, or X mount, I guess as we refer to them. And we'll use that on this side. Something like that. It'll be on there. So anyway, that gives you an idea, and we're going to mount to the inside. Going to have to do a little modification to the mount itself. We're going to trim it down a wee bit and see how it overhangs here around the whole outside. So we're going to grind that down, and we're going to drill another set of holes in between the ones that you see here and mount it up that way. Otherwise we'll be forced to go to the outside without using this mounting bracket. Or you can also center up and drill through. We could probably use this in some form or another on the outside if we had to, but we'll go ahead and modify the mount so it works on the inside of the airframe. So once again, this is a 4120 COBRA 4120/12 850 kV 3S. 4S is 1100 some change. 5S was 1300 and some change. So this is supposed to be a pretty versatile little motor. For those of you that don't know, the kV aspect of the motor does not stand for kilovolt. To be truthfully honest, after all the years I've been in this hobby, I don't even know what the kV represents, other than it's an RPM factor, and you take your voltage of your battery, times it by the kV, and that'll give you a fairly approximate revolution per minute, or RPM, that this motor will turn. And we're looking on this COBRA motor here, this bad boy's going to spin somewhere between 10,000 and 11,000 RPM. So that is my video showing the power plant. I will post the installation video in the next day or so. Thanks.